Well, to start, thank you for being with us today. Just to dive right in. So, when there is a massive cliffhanger on a finale like we see at the end of last season, how soon do you guys find out, what happens next?
How soon do we find out what happens next as the actors or
As
as
the
the audience?
actors.
Oh, we already know what happens.
Oh.
Yeah, we've probably shot 6, 7 episodes now.
Mhm.
And so we're about through almost to the middle of the season. But you guys are just finding out what happened to the conclusion. But yeah, we as far as the season finale and the premiere, the audience gets to find out what happened with the bomb and who lived and who died immediately. But as far as the season goes, it's gonna be a slow burn for you guys. But we're
Yeah.
we're we're in the mix. We're off and running.
Oh yeah, so you're always just getting all the tea, I guess, obviously.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of tea, and I can't tell you any of it, but I got
Okay. So, as we just saw in the premiere, Grey's is one of the only shows that does not shy away from killing off beloved and favorite characters. Do you ever get nervous for Winston when these like big stories come up?
it. Of course, I think we all collectively at a table read are very nervous. There's like an ongoing like joke that people flip to the end to see if their name is still there, and I've seen people do it. So
Mhm.
they actually, when it comes to a mid-season finale, a season finale, and a premiere, those three episodes, people are like a little bit on edge about their characters and if we live or if we die. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, at the end of last season when there was the bomb, I was like, oh, I'm first to go. I'm out. But then like, you read and you see kind of how it develops and you realize if you were in the vicinity or not. But there was a full like 2/3 of the summer where me, myself, and the rest of the cast did not know if we who lived and who died. It was crazy. So they told us, near the end of the summer before we started shooting.
Oh wow, I can't imagine that suspense of just, do I still get to go back or not?
Do I have a job? Am I employed? I don't know. We'll find out. Should I go on this vacation or should should
Just
I
that.
chill?
So we see
Yeah.
Winston through like a whirlwind of emotion when it comes to his love life. He and Monica had a connection for a short time, and now there's like potential sparks with Jules. How will Jules and Winston navigate their complex relationship, mentorship, with this new added layer of Monica's death, kind of being traumatic for both of them?
Wow, I almost forgot that it aired for a second. I
I
was
know
like,
you're
oh,
like, how do you
I
know?
can't, how'd you know that? Like, can't talk about that. Like months we've been like not saying anything about anything. But how does it move forward? I think it gives an opportunity for the slow burn that's happening with Winston and Jules to maybe ignite and expedite a few things just because of the trauma of that situation. And trauma tends on this show, unfortunately, to be a bonding agent. And so for Jules to have gone through such a horrific situation with like a beloved member and mentor for her, and then somebody like Winston who cared for Monica on a friendship level and an even deeper level to an extent. It just kind of it sets the scene for things to ignite more with Winston and Jules. But will it? I don't know. I can't tell you that. There might be some hurdles thrown in the path of that ignition happening.
But we'll see. So Winston also has the heartbreaking task of telling Amelia about Monica's death, and there are a few moments between the two in this episode. What was it like working with Katarina as a scene partner in those kind of deeper, more emotional moments?
Such a great question. I could talk about Katarina Scorsone all day. She is just one of my favorite scene partners I've ever had in my life because she's so present and she has such an ability to just move you. And
Mhm.
I found myself in both of those scenes, honestly, but particularly in the techie lab where she's trying to get away from, well, Winston kind of pulls her away from Link to give her a second to just kind of understand and relax a bit. And I found myself in that scene when we were shooting it, just enamored with her talent and her skill. And I was like watching her perform like I was a fan or something. It was like, what am I? It was just so compelling and so moving and so present. And I was just trying to do my best to be a scene partner that could help facilitate that in any way because she is phenomenal. And just watching her work is inspiring. It makes you want to lift your level. It just really does. And you kind of have to try to meet her somewhere up there because she's just she's soaring, you know? She is
Oh, yeah.
so good.
There's like a singular moment where that emotion just switches. You just see it in her eyes. And then you see it in
Yeah.
yours too, where you're like, oh, okay, let me just try and keep this a neutral, conversation telling her this.
Yeah, it's a tough scene to work through because of those beats. And she was very particular about not just starting off the bat, but like arriving to this place of emotion. And she does it so beautifully. It's like a dance. It's so nice.
No, yeah. So in the
Yeah.
teaser for next week, we do see the return of Maggie. Can fans expect there to be an interaction between you two, possibly? Or is that something that you
Um,
can't talk about?
there, I guess I can say there won't be an interaction, but there will be some eyebrows raised about certain topics involving those two, possibly. So that's
There's
something.
something. There's something.
Yeah, yeah, there's something there.
Okay. So outside of relationships, what journey will we find Winston on this season?
Outside of relationships, you're seeing a guy who is they're literally rebuilding a hospital, literally and figuratively. They're just trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward in a place that is just wrought with tragedy and just like one thing after another. So this is a guy who moved across the country a few seasons back to be with a woman who worked at this hospital. This woman has now moved on to other things, and so is he, but he remains at this hospital. So how does that shape him moving forward? And I think like it's interesting that the hospital feels kind of like a character in the show because it's just so it brings so much to the table every season, every episode. It's something crazy that's happening here. And so moving forward from a place of just professionalism, Winston is trying to live up to his label, which has been given to him from Teddy of chief of cardiothoracic. That's a big deal. And to try to balance all of that in this hospital that has tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, more so than any other hospital I've ever seen in my life, he's trying to just manage that and navigate that in a way that he can keep his job and do it well and be proud of it. I think he's a prideful guy, especially when it comes to medicine. That's what I feel. And I think that this is going to test this season has a hospital as a character that's really going to continue to test him in his new leadership position.
Oh, yeah. Lovely. So, kind of on that too, a beloved part of Grey's outside of the characters are the individual stories and patients. Do you have a personal favorite that stuck with you so far this season that you can tease a little bit or give people an episode to look out for?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, there's one that I'm thinking of that would be it's exciting, but I can't talk about that one. But there's another one coming up pretty soon. I think episode 3. It's coming up in a couple weeks that I'm really proud of from a acting standpoint. I got to work with Ellen for the first time medically, if that makes sense. And that was a big deal to me because it's kind of a milestone it's kind of a rite of passage to get to work with Ellen Pompeo on Grey's Anatomy with a medical storyline.
Hmm.
It hasn't happened yet for Winston, and I think that's cool. They've kind of in passing said hi, like it's just
Hmm.
random interactions here and there because that's was Maggie's sister, obviously. But now it's like colleague to colleague. How are we going to handle this thing? And I think it's a fascinating episode
Hmm.
from both of them because they approach something in different ways, and to see how they come together to make it work is pretty fun, I think.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see. So
Yeah.
Winston is obviously part of a very iconic list of past cardiosurgeons on the show. During last season, Jules expresses the disappointment from not being able to learn from him because she views him as the best. Kind of from your point of view of playing Winston, do you think he took that as a compliment or is kind of comparing himself and taking it more in a negative way?
Good question. Um, in the moment, I think Winston took that as her trying to dump something onto him as his responsibility to teach her when reality there's a lot of great teachers at the hospital, which is what he said. I'm not the only cardiothoracic surgeon. He's thinking of Teddy Altman, first of all. She's phenomenal and one of the best to ever do it. So that's kind of how he took it personally in a way. But I'm not sure how he thinks of himself in that. realm because I know he feels accomplished and he feels capable. But as far as one of the best or the best, as she put it, I don't know. That's a slippery slope because there's some legends that have walked through those halls. And I know like the fans are like, come on, Christina Yang is the best. Or, they're just they go on and on and on. But in this world, looking at what Winston has accomplished, if you want to keep it real and look back at his track record, which a lot of people don't tend to do, I don't know why, he actually has accomplished some groundbreaking things that kind of get that kind of fly under the radar. So I think he's kind of overlooked in a way that gives him a chip on his shoulder and kind of inspires him to be the best or to try to be the best, especially after Maggie said, "Look, you don't care about your profession. You seem like I'm your pet. Like you said Maggie's your passion. What about medical?" And so he's taken those words and those experiences and just kind of tried to continue to build himself as a world-renowned surgeon. And I think he's doing a pretty good job. You look back at the record,
Oh
if I
yeah,
may say so myself.
it's got
But
a
yeah,
good rap
yeah,
sheet.
yeah.
So kind of like a fun question now. Technical logic aside, what is a show you would love to see Grey's do like a crossover arc with?
The pit.
Yeah.
I love the pit so much, but here's the thing. They're so different. It's hilarious if you try to compare the two because you can't. They're medical shows, sure. But like, one is on Max and one is on ABC. That means guidelines are different for both of those things. One feels kind of like I mean, they're medical dramas, but it's interesting that they have different genres at the same time as being in the same umbrella of the same genre. But
Mhm.
I would love to see a crossover, either of those actors coming to our show, which would be so interesting, or what I would love to do is go to their show because that would free us up to be cussing and throwing stuff
Oh,
around and fighting, all
mhm.
kinds of crazy stuff that we could get away with on HBO.
I think that'd be like a fun flip to see Grays at that high pace, like single day route, and then to see them kind of have a more prolonged kind of
Yo, wouldn't
storyline.
that be cool?
That'd be
I'm
fun.
saying, let's pitch it.
Oh yeah. So you were on an episode of Station 19 prior to joining This World is Winston. Is it fun for you to realize that technically two versions of you exist in this, big, huge universe of this show?
That was like something I was like hesitant to talk about early on because I was like, I hope that like Shondaland and ABC doesn't like realize, oh, that's problematic and like not let me continue to be on the show. But now I feel comfortable talking about it. It's like I was a completely different character in the same universe. And some people had like theories that Winston has a twin brother and like it's like he's running around Seattle somewhere, and it was just a really fun experience. But I like the idea that I've gotten to play on as many Shonda shows as possible. Just to be honest, as an actor, you want to do anything that she's involved in, and both shows are wonderful. And I got to work with that cast from a patient's perspective. There was a medical episode in the situation that I was in. Like my character had some sort of flu in Station 19 or something, and so passed out, and there was like this medical situation. So being a patient in Shondaland and then being a doctor in Shondaland is such a cool juxtaposition and such a cool like you get to see both sides kind of and I don't know how many people have that experience.
Oh yeah. That's fun.
Yeah,
That'd be fun for them to expand on that as a joke in the future or something. Something
it
silly.
would. Yeah, I'd be down for it.
And then just what would you like to say to fans and supporters of you and your work?
Oh man. I it's just gonna sound cliche and like what everybody says, but I mean it when I say it that the show obviously wouldn't be on without people watching and caring. And like caring enough to engage and like and passionately have debates and be divisive and be excited and be angry and like be sad. And it's just so cool to see those responses online and to see uh if you go I went to my first convention over the summer in Paris and I got to see in real life up close and personal people coming up to me saying this scene of this episode on so and so season really helped me work through my issues with my dad or like that happened. That was a conversation I had. And I was just like, it was fun to see and get to appreciate the real people that watch this show and and love the show. And the work that we put in kind of it doesn't feel like it's in vain. It feels like it's purposeful. when you get to chat with these people about why they love to watch it. And so I'm just grateful, and I would just give them all a shout out and say thank you, and please continue to watch and enjoy. Even if you love to hate it sometimes, it's all love, you know, it's all good.
Oh yeah.